Hi all. Right, just picked up a couple of wee things I missed. One thing that I missed and one little mistake that I made that Martin's picked up um, quite smartly. There was that as well. The unit that we had, just made a mess. Actually, what the thing I forgot was I didn't carry out any advance after combat if there's any when we eliminated this unit in this hex. I kind of forgot about that, but I've not done anything else since. This is my next recording, so fortunately I'll be able to do that. However, while the video was uploaded, Martin pointed out correctly that and I suppose I'll make my case and say because it had an out of supply marker on the top that threw me. So he was out of supply, but you'll notice it's a bracketed unit. So he isn't exerting zone of control. So I think there is there's certainly one unit I think that could go into this hex that would have went into this hex, and I think it's possible. No, we moved something from there, didn't we? I'm looking back on the video just now, and yes, this guy moved from here to here because he couldn't reach this. The thing now is we can actually get into this hex possibly with an R unit. So I'll just go over the movement that we had again. So he came into here, and then the armoured unit. So I'll just put this like that. So he came into there correctly. The armoured unit couldn't, it was here. It couldn't quite reach up into the forest there as well. So it was right in that it came into there. And what else did we have in there? We had unit 6. So he was already there. So unit 5 would have been next. Now he was, and then we had unit 7. So this is kind of how it was before they moved. Like I say, I moved unit 2 and then the armoured unit. They were both in that hex. He went in there, the armoured unit went in there. That's right. Then unit 5 again can't reach up into there because it's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 4. 2 more movement to go in that forest. So he rightly would have. Hang on. I actually thought he might have spoiled it, but I'm forgetting Unit 6 not actually moved yet. And they could also go through that hex. So Unit 5 actually made the same move as the armour, which is right. Now, this is where there should have been a change, because Unit 6 can actually get into this hex. And because he's already adjacent to this unit, so he doesn't actually want to move, but he can tactically adjust. So he would have tactically adjusted into the empty hex in this town. And like I say, I didn't notice it because, you can't move from zone of control to zone of control. However, this guy's a bracketed unit, he's not in a town, so he doesn't exert zone of control, as Martin well spotted. So he would have moved into there. Unit 7, he's not got an empty hex he can reach anyway, so I think that's the only difference. This one I'll check again. No, there is a slight difference with this as well. Because in the original video I had this hex fully stacked, and also not knowing I could get into this hex, I then moved this unit into here. Well, he can actually reach multiple hexes. So then we look at tiebreakers, which is the hex that makes allied units surrounded. Well, he's already surrounded, and then to an unoccupied hex, he can't reach. The only unoccupied hex is there. He can't reach there, and then to the easternmost hex. So it's actually going to be up here, because he can actually go 1 and then 2, 3 into that forest. So I think that's how the 80 core units would have ended up before the actual combat. And I just also need to look at the 85th, because there was that reinforced battle. I'm just want to check how all that went. Okay, just looking back on things and something else has cropped up. However, nobody's mentioned this. So whether you guys have missed it too well, in particular yourself, Martin, obviously you've watched the combat enemy, and it got me wondering again about if this is breaking a restriction or not. Nah, I've been here before. I've asked the question. Martin gave me a "it's always hard to know for sure" answer, unfortunately. So, well, the question was, and this also kind of coincides with my recent mention of movement, the difference between movement and advance after combat, or movement and what's the other one? Retreat. Yeah. So retreat. Although you're moving a unit, when you're retreating it, it's not, classified as quote move. It's quote retreat. And the same way advance after combat, that is not movement. It's not a movement, even though the unit's moving. It's advance after combat. Now, reinforced battle. Well, I mentioned it recently as suggesting it was the same thing as well, that it wasn't actual movement. Well, that looks like a slightly greyer area. But like I say, the question I posted back was basically saying during German movement, a unit was unable to move due to restrictions 9.21 when then conducting the German attack. This is ally solo. Yeah, it was an ally solo question. When conducting the German attack, the support card had reinforced battle, and the only eligible unit was the one restricted from making the movement. So, well, this is what happened. This unit was here, and we already talked about them not being able to move away from this unit because he's got 4 strength, he's in a VP town. So this unit can only move if it can reach another adjacent hex to the VP town. But when I went to reinforced battle, I just went right in there and never even thought about it. Well, this was my question back in the day. Like I say, this was back in October 2019, so 2 years ago. So basically, I'm not sure if it's allowed to move or if it's restricted. Like I say, I got a reply from Martin. It's always hard to know for sure, but I'm fairly sure the restrictions in 9.21 are supposed to be in place for all movement, including reinforced battle situations. So there you are. Now, I'm reading all that, and I don't know if I know we got a lot of confirmations from John Butterfield recently when Martin fired a lot of questions at him. I'm not sure that was one that was clarified though. Maybe I should have a look though. Yeah, I can't see anything else regarding that question. So the only thing I can go on and what Martin believes, that reinforced battle does still need to follow the restrictions. Like I say, maybe something else has appeared, but I can't find anything. So let me know, guys, if I've missed that out. So this unit can't actually reinforce into here. If he actually could, he would have reinforced into this hex here, because again, now finding out that this doesn't have a zone of control, he can reach an empty hex. So he would go 1, 2, breaking the zone of control from that unit, and then 3 into here. Still across the river, but it's an empty hex, which is a priority for the tactical adjustments. However, he shouldn't have been able to reinforce even into this hex. So that's how I'm seeing that. Let me know what you think about that one. Still Martin in particular, because you did notice this situation. So it wouldn't have been there wouldn't have been a reinforced battle option at all then, because every one of the 3 units has to stay adjacent to that unit. Well, this guy's actually in the fight anyway, so any one of the 2 units he can't reach. You know what? It's only this guy, and he can't. Oh, wait a minute. He could go in here, couldn't he? No. Well, actually, he could. He can still reinforce the battle. He can go 1, 2, breaking zone of control, and then 3 back into here, because there's no zone of control. Then he's still adjacent to this. Yeah, I think so. I mean, tactically, he wants to tactically adjust to an empty hex. Well, that's an interesting one, I suppose. Would he end up there? I mean, is he caring about the fact this is an empty hex because he's actually going to reinforce his battle? I think so. I don't think he, yeah, I don't think he considers the whole tactical adjustment because if his purpose was to stay adjacent to this unit, I mean, I know that's part of his restriction. However, he can still stay adjacent to the unit and carry out the reinforced battle. So yeah, I'm thinking that that's what he would have actually ended up in that hex. So he still would have become part of the battle. And there's 5 steps in that hex, so that's fine. So the battle would have been like that. Martin kind of thought there was, he mentioned he thought there was a chip pool less maybe, but I can't see how that could be. Hang on. Right, yeah, I'm not sure where Martin's thinking there could have been. Hang on, let me see what his post was again. Sorry. So the US unit that was eliminated in the first didn't have a zone of control. Yeah, spot on. Only difference in the end, I believe, is the positioning of the German units, perhaps one less combat shit as well, but it was a massive overkill anyway. I mean, nothing's going to change here. That guy's going away. And remember, he was out of supply. There's 8 to 1 odds still. That's what I got. So nothing's changed there. And there's 8 units in the battle, and then 2 3-step units. So that's 10 chip pools. Then we had 1 for the reinforced battle, 11, 1 for the artillery from the 7th Army card is 12, and 1 for the out of supply, which was 13. So I think it's still the same. I think it was still the same. The only thing I could think is Martin's maybe thinking that unit shouldn't, but he didn't mention the fact that unit shouldn't have moved. So, and pretty sure he can just move where he's moved. That's the unit underneath here we're talking about. Okay, I'm going to go with that, and because 12 minutes have passed. What do you know? And I'm just going to go with that. We're not going to. That unit's gone. Oh, the other thing was we had 2 more units eliminated, unit spots, so they're going in the cup. The Germans are getting another victory point. They're on 39. So that's 2 they've gained this day already, I think. Let's double check. I don't think we're in any danger. No, they need to have more than 55, so they've got 39, so we're probably okay with that. Okay, Martin and anybody else, let me know your thoughts if I've done it. Well, no, I think the only question is, was this unit okay to reinforce battle, still staying adjacent to that? And I think he is. I think that is allowed. Okay, I'll just check for what I forgot, advance after combat as well. Okay, first unit to check is this one. He's going back the way, there's no arrows, and it's not getting close to his army objective, so that's no. The armoured unit here, it actually is 1 hex closer to his army objective there, so that's the second part of advance, which is into a town or closer to army objective. Now he would advance on a 1 to 7. So it's a 5. It's maybe just off camera. It's a 5. I'll leave the box here in case we're rolling something else. So he advances 1 hex into there. Now he does have the option to advance. He's the only unit that can advance 1 more. Now he's armoured. It's just armoured that matters, isn't it? Yeah, mechanised unit. So he can. Oh, maybe not. He's against the river, isn't he? So. Yeah, where would he go in? There's no arrows. Sorry, what am I doing here? Yeah, this would be the there's no path of retreat. The unit would have retreated into that hex and then been eliminated. So that's a hex that he moved, but there's no path of retreat. So could this unit reach another hex legally? Well, he can't move across the river at all. So the only other hex would be maybe here. Could he do that? Could he come down into that hex? Possibly. He doesn't actually have. He's not got any arrows, and he can't go across this river. So which would be one hex closer to his army objective. So which, if the river wasn't there, he would have had a roll. But well, in actual fact, there's no space in that hex, is there? Stepwise. This hex is not any closer to his army objective, so the only route he could go is this one, and it's other route, so he doesn't go there. Okay, so that's 2, 3. Unit 4, this guy now, the guy underneath reinforced the battle, so he can't advance, but Unit 4 here does not want to advance into that hex. He's also restricted to stay there. Unit 5, again, this would be one hex closer, because that's where the armoured unit was. So he might go in a 1 to 3 heal roll, because there's a unit already in there. So a 1 to 3. Oh yeah, okay, he gets a 2, so he's going to move in there as well. Let's put the armoured unit on top. And that's going to be it, isn't it? Because they can only get 2. Once there's 2 units already advanced, nothing else can advance. Okay, that's it. That's done. Right, 17 minutes. Nonsense. Okay. Right, so that was the last impulse, so it'll be an allied impulse. So let's see if we can get that. Actually, maybe just take a pause there in case I need to cut this bit, because I'm not sure I've got the time just now, right now, but I'll be back soon anyway. Okay, cheers guys. Hi all, allied impulse time. I'm going to bottle out. I'm bottling out on going for this guy, I think. By playing the 7th Corps, I'm not going to do it. I don't think. I say I get 41 odds. He's an elite armoured unit in the forest. And he's going to cross the river. 41 odds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to be able to get a large attack though, you know. Is this silly? Should I be going for this? I was determined I wasn't going to do it. Now I'm starting to think about it again. Okay, I actually decided I'm going to pass, I think. I'll show you my hand. Right, there's my hand. I put my big light, it comes for that side, it just creates an awful lot of, so it's maybe a bit dark, but at least there's no glare. So there's the 3 cards in my hand. You know, don't really have any great use for that, apart from maybe repairing the armoured unit down the south. That's really all. The 7 Corps unit card, well, of course I was talking about making that attack. 5th Corps would either be used for artillery to support that. Saying that, could tank battalion that to support that. I mean, it's really just to get the extra chip pool, although artillery's better, that's true. But the other thing I did maybe want to consider with 5th Corps was moving that unit into Liège and moving the other unit across the river. But the Germans still have 6 cards, so I'm pretty sure I can wait and let them have one more impulse. Yeah, I suppose there's possibly 3 things I still maybe could do. I still think, I mean, we've not seen the army group cards yet, and we've not seen for these 9th Panzer units, because that card's still shuffling as well, so technically they've actually got 7 cards, haven't they? Because that'll definitely be getting shuffled out. Well, I say shuffled out. Oh, I'll still be coming in. Even if it's we draw the army group card as the last card, it'll still come in as the last card. So okay, I'm going to pass. I'm going to take a chance and well, we'll take a chance. I just want to see what they do. I think I made a mistake in one previous day where I could have waited, and then I didn't really think about it, and then afterwards, in hindsight, I thought if I'd waited, I'd been able to do this. So yeah, we're going to take a pass. So we're going to have a German impulse. Okay, so German impulse. Let's hope we don't regret it. So that's another division card, and we've got the 47th. So no primary card. Yeah, this is supplemental, the 47th. So they'll try and repair, possibly. Mind you, I'm not so sure they'll be able to. Most of their units won't be able to trace reserve supply anyway, so it might be a case of them activating instead. But well, they just activated recently and didn't do an awful lot. So okay. Oh well. In actual fact, this event's got consolidation on it, so if there is going to be any repair, it's going to be from this first. This is not affected. What are these guys? The red guys up the north, yeah. So no fuel in the 22nd, 25th, 28th, so they're not affected by that. So the card stays where it is. We do have consolidation, so we're going to try and repair a point to the 47th with that consolidation event. But at a quick glance, I don't think there's anything we can do with that. Yeah, I don't think it can happen. This guy, he could trace reserve supply, but he's full strength. And, well, actually, this guy can't trace reserve supply either, but he has full strength. And then all these guys are surrounded in here. And they're all the ones that have taken a hit. This one, the Fuhrer Brigade, is in there, but they can't trace reserve supply, so they can't repair. That's only 2 units, because we have managed to eliminate 4 of their core. So that event's not going to happen, and then we move to the command card, and clearly, like I just said, the first command would be assigned 2 replacement points. But well, if we can't repair 1, then we can't repair 2, so that's not going to happen either. So we're going to activate the 47th again, because it was only a couple of impulses ago, wasn't it? In fact, yeah. Do they not have a division card as well? Right, however, there's no reserve units in the reserve units box. The combat tactic on the support cards, combat engineers. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a whole lot of nothing here. Again, because this feels like not long ago I made this same activation. So okay, let me have a look. Right, there's nothing able to move at all. I mean, all these units are surrounded in here. This guy's also surrounded now, so can't even consider him moving. This is the only other guy, and well, he's adjacent to VP town, so he's want to stay adjacent to that VP town, and he can't even get to another hex because he's not got the movement to do it. So that is it. We're just going to have to move on to check for combats. Now, yeah, we did get the possible check up here the last time, didn't we? So this might actually might turn into something, I suppose. So that's one thing. Just looking at this first, I know I shouldn't be looking at this first because I think this is unit selector number 3. This guy would have, well, actually that should be away because we passed. So he's got 2 choices, but this is across the river, so that's only 1 against 3. And this one's 3 against 3, but he's in the forest, so it's 3 against 4 and adjacent, so that's 3 against 5. So that one's not going to work. This one down here is 1-to-1 odds, so that would be a possible die roll. We have combat engineers in the reserve units box, so that is a beneficial combat tactic, so that would turn that into give that a -1 modifier, but so there's a slim chance. But I think we need to be considering up here first to see if this might happen. Okay, let me have a wee look before I... Right, so it's 4 against 2, +1 for IP, +1 adjacent. I think that's 1-to-1 odds just there. This one would be 4 against 4, so 1-to-1 there. But I think this is the one we need to check because he's getting support. So that's 5 strength in there. So that's 4, 5, and there's 5 strength in here as well. So that is 10 to 5. Is that a forest? Oops, no, that guy's flipped. No, it's woods. It's a woods hex. This guy is flipped. But they do have adjacent supplied units. So there's 6 strength in there. So it's 10 against 6. So that is going to be the better odds, and that's going to be 1.5 to 1. Yeah, so that is the best chance. So 10 against 6, 1.5 to 1. So but I'm going to get a -1. You might hear a bit of banging from that door. I've opened the window a wee bit, it's quite warm, but it's a bit breezy, so if you hear any knocking, then that's what it will be. Where am I? So, yeah, so it's Combat Engineer support card, so there's elites against elite. There's elite defenders there as well. So there's going to be a -1 modifier for the support card at least. So 1.5 to 1 with a -1. Let's see what we get. Oh, that's a big high number again. 8. Pretty sure that's not going to happen. Well, not set to a 7, cancel less than 3 to 1. So yeah, no again. Now we would then consider. Well, the next unit would be the Führer Brigade, in order wise, but he's marked out of fuel now, so he can't attack. And remember, it's 2 single step units that are in there, so none of them can be the lead attack. So then it would be this guy here, and we've already decided he can't attack. So I suppose the only possibility is going to be this one down here, because this guy here as well is also just a 1-step unit, so he can't be considered. Neither of them can be considered. The Führer Brigade can't be considered. So yeah, just this guy. So this is 1-to-1 odds with a -1 because the support card would work as well. So that's all we can go on with that. But again, pretty sure we need a 1 here. A 9's not going to do it. Okay. So I think that's going to be it. There's not going to be anything. Oh, that guy's going to build an IP. Now, I would have thought that happened the last time. Did I miss something there? Just feel like I activated the core quite recently. Or did he move that last time? Ah, yeah, I think he did, didn't he? I think he moved adjacent. Yeah. Yeah, I'm assuming that must have been what happened. But I'm pretty sure they were activated. However, this time he's in a hex that can take an IP, so that's going to be about all they've done for that impulse. It shows you when you take some of the units away and trap some of them, it really takes everything away from them, really. Yeah. Right, okay, well, we might as well push on. So this division card now becomes, I'll just show you it here, now becomes a second impulse. The special has gone, we're on the 23rd. So activate the 3rd PG division. Now there's 2 units, and they're way up the north. Actually, I say they're way up the north. One of them's here. The other one's actually in the reserve units box. So, interesting. And here was me. One of the thoughts I had that last impulse was activating the 5th Corps. And this is what I was actually going to do before I changed my mind, because I said I'd bottled out using the 7 Corps card. So I was going to actually move this unit in here and move this guy across the river. And now there is a chance this guy is now going to get attacked, I think. Oh, I'm saying that. This is a 3-step unit underneath. I've just realised that the reserve can't come into here because he's going to have to trace reserve supply, isn't he? We had that situation before, I think. I think that's why only one of them came out. That's right. Okay, well, jumping ahead there a little bit. So, activating the 2 units. No roadblocks, yada yada yada. So, can that guy make any kind of movements then? Probably not. I've just realised something. Movement method 7. Rewind, Grant, rewind. That's what happened with this guy, wasn't it? That's why he wasn't able to build an IP, which this was a rule that, before we got clarification on the rule, I didn't think, because this guy's movement is considered complete. So, but we found out it was clarified that he can't do anything else. He could make an attack, he could do the attack check, but he can't build an IP or he couldn't bounce back to reserves with it. So that's what he had done the last time, and that's what he was going to do this time as well. Because he's only, movement method 7, he's the only infantry. If the unit is already the only non-bracket German infantry unit adjacent to an allied town or unit, the German unit does not move, and its movement is considered complete. So that's why he didn't have an IP before, and he's still not got an IP. Right, okay, back up top. And the reason that came to mind was the same thing's going to happen here. Oh no, it's not. That's infantry underneath, because this is mechanised infantry. However, there's, mechanised infantry becomes able to do these movement methods 5 to 9 after the 23rd, or from the 23rd, which we are at. However, there is another infantry unit already adjacent to this unit underneath, so we won't be doing that then. Which is quite good, I think, because it would have been a bit meh if he had just sat there as well, because I think he might come around a little bit. Oh, well, actually, if he was staying there, he would want to tactically adjust, wouldn't he? Yes. So if that was an armoured unit underneath, he still would try and move into that hex. Yes, that's right. Yeah. What's this going to come down to? Right, on to 10 to 13 now. Can't find anything. So, can't move the arrows. His arrows going up that way. He can't get closer. These army objectives underneath this unit. He can't go in that way. Well, not at the moment he can't. So 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 does not get him closer to his army objective. This is where I thought he would go, but again, it's not closer to his army objective. Yeah. So if he moved right onto movement method 13, now I'm deliberately skipping over 12 at the moment, because I think he's going to. No, he's not. He's not going to infiltrate either. Well, we might as well talk about that then, because infiltrate's got to be closer to his army objective as well, isn't it? Yeah, not the same distance. It's got to be closer. He's obviously stacked with another. Oh, Grant, the unit needs to be active as well, and it's not right. Forget what I'm talking about there. I'm sure you get what I'm thinking, but I'm talking a lot of rubbish. So, right, we move right on to movement method 13. So move adjacent to an allied unit if not already adjacent to an allied unit. Well, he is already adjacent to an allied unit, but here's where he could tactically adjust. And he wants to get to an empty hex, so he can actually go 1, 2, breaking zone of control, 3, 4 into there. So he's still adjacent to the same allied unit, but he's just tactically adjusted to be in an empty hex. So I'm pretty sure that one was all clarified and allowed. It's something that's easy to kind of forget about though, but I think I've got that right. So that, in actual fact, the other part of that as well, there you go, it makes some right sense, because we now can consider that reserve coming in here and still be able to trace reserve supply, because there's now a space in this hex. I mean, he can't come into this hex because he can't trace reserve supply, but that's not it. The important part was that that unit moved out of there, letting that reserve possibly move into there. So now that when we do the check, we can consider that other 4 strength armoured unit joining the battle. So yeah, well, that's the only unit that's going to move, so well, let's just move on to that check then. So it's 5 against 3. Well, unfortunately, he's in a forest, he's got a unit adjacent, so it's 5 against 5, so it's only 1-1 odds. And in fact, bringing that reserve in, it'll knock up to 1.5 to 1. So yeah, I consider that now. There's no support card. The reserve unit's a 4 strength unit, and yes, he can come into here. He's only 2 steps, so he can come into here. So that would then be 9 against 5, so not quite 2 to 1, unfortunately. So 1.5 to 1. There'll be no modifiers. There's no elite. Nah, neither of the units are elite, and there's no support card. Yeah. So 1.5 to 1 with no modifiers. There's got to be a low one again. Oh, there we go. Being all high. There's a 1. So this could happen this time. A 1 is cancelled if only defender elite or only defender armour, and that is not the case. Right, good. We've got an attack then. Well, I'm saying good. I'm not really wanting that, but well, you're not getting a choice, Grant. That's what's happening. Well, and partly maybe in some ways good that I've just passed, because I've got extra card, I've got some extra combat tactics obviously that I could use here. However, like I say, I think the move that I was going to make was going to be moving that unit across into there. Now, that unit might well have came adjacent to it, and I don't think he could have brought his buddy though, but anyway, like, what are you talking about that for? So, okay, where are we? Combat. Right, the reserve doesn't get added until after combat tactics. Yeah, okay, so yeah, we're going to draw a combat tactic. I'll zoom in a little bit there. Yeah, let's do that then. Oh, it's an extra card they're getting to draw. 58. Well, this is going to shuffle in, isn't it? It's reinforced battle. Oh, yeah, right. They're hitting things now. This is going to help, because I've got a unit that's not active right adjacent in itself. Don't think they could bring that stack. No, he's going to be moving for zone of control. And I know there's a stack here, but they can't all come across this Umbridge River. So my guess would be that 4 strength infantry unit's going to join the battle. Okay, let me just double check reinforced battle. Okay, it needs to be in the same army to be eligible or adjacent. So this guy's both in the same army and adjacent. If there's more than one, you want to be using the unit that's not going to be attacking across the river. Then you want to surround the defender. Well, none of them are applicable. So then it selects the lowest number. So yeah, we've got 11, 26, and we've got 7 in there. And this guy right here is number 4. So he is going to be the one that's going to join the battle, reinforce it. Okay, that's more interesting now. And then we get to add that reserve. And he's only got one place he can go, like I say, he can only go there. Let me just check, 12.21 again. Hex is adjacent, German reserve supply can be traced, and it wouldn't overstack. It's looking to surround the unit, but like I say, I'm pretty sure this is the only hex that he can trace reserve supply by going one over there, onto that road and away, yeah. So here he is, 4 strength, armoured unit, 2 steps into that hex to join the battle, so it's quite nasty now. Okay, so right, well let's see what we've got odds wise now then. So that's 8, 13 against 3. Yeah, 13 against 3, so the odds are 4 to 1. We've got quite a few chip pools here as well, I think, because there's got a 4-step unit, a 3-step unit as well, isn't it? So 1, 2, 3 units, 1 for the 3-step unit is 4, 1 for the reinforced battle, so 5 chip pools, that's not too bad. 5 chip pools, 4 to 1. They've got armour, we've got infantry in the forest. So, well, I did talk about that tank battalion. Now, does that drop the odds? It would, wouldn't it? 4, 8. It's 13 they've got in it. 13 to 3, so 13 to 4. We drop the odds to 3 to 1 and would give me armour. That feels better, doesn't it? I'm overly concerned about this unit. I mean, I was going to move him across the river anyway, but so a D1 result would be okay. However, I'm going to take my chances here. I know it's probably silly and I probably should be using using this card, or tank battalion. But that armoured unit down, here he's here, just down southwest of Bastogne. You know, he repairs to a 4 strength armoured unit. That'd be quite nice to do. So it's a bit of a gamble here. Obviously if 4 to 1 chits come up, or armoured only chits, I'm going to be kicking myself, but going to take the chance. Okay, so yeah, 4 to 1 odds, 5 chit pools, let's get the chits. There's the first chit. Well, there you go. All the things I said that, like, if that come up, this was the 3rd chit, this was the 4th chit. Ah dear. So if I'd played my tank battalion, nothing would have happened at all. It would have been D0, A0. I didn't play my tank battalion, and we're getting D3. Kicking myself. Okay, I'll go retreat. I guess I go into here, retreat, and then have to be dispersed and take a stepless. Yeah, I think that's probably best. No other option was going retreat into here, but it keeps the 2 5th Corps units together, although the fact this one's dispersed on the bottom means that I can't just move them both in there. yeah, well, that's what it is. Just shows you there if I played that, but okay, just check for advance after combat. I'll clear the chits away. Oh, just want to remember as well, this is going to shuffle back in, so I've still got that 58 core to be activated. They might get up to something. They might either have a go at Marche or maybe push the Roch for it maybe. I know you can't quite see that, but so 4 cards in the German draw pile now, but remember we're still to get the 9th Panzer Division card from the Army Group B card when it appears. Okay, advance after combat. Now this unit can't advance because he reinforced the battle. However, the reserve could as well. So unit number 1, it's a secondary arrow, so I'm pretty sure he's going into there. Makes sense. Secondary route, nobody's advanced already, so he will go into there. Now, the path of retreat is into this hex. Oh, he can go there, can't he? Yeah, because he's following the path of retreat, so he doesn't care about. Make sure I've got this right. May advance 2 hexes. Oh, I think I'm talking nonsense on that. Oh no, I'm not. Because the second hex may be any hex, but when deviating from the path of retreat, well, if we move into that hex, that's any hex, and we'd not be deviating from the path of retreat. But if we were deviating, it may not move from an enemy-controlled hex to another, may not cross a Numbers River, and may not enter forest unless entering along the road. So it may not enter across an Umbridge River. If it was deviating, I wouldn't be able to do that. But however, I'm not deviating. So, I'll tell you what though. I don't think he will, because he's moving into a surrounded hex, and that was one of the new rules that came about, wasn't it? On the 22nd, German advance restrictions: advance into surrounded hex only if the hex hold value is greater than or equal to 4. So that hex would be a surrounded hex, and it's not greater or equal to 4. So he's not going to go into that hex. And the only other hex would be deviating from the path of retreat, and he'd be going from zone of control to zone of control, so he can't do that. So he is just going to stop there. Yeah, that was quite interesting. Select number 2. Well, he's not following arrows, but he is getting closer to his army objective. But a unit's already advanced, so he will advance on a 1 to 3. And it's a 2. The low numbers are coming now. Okay, so he's going to advance into there as well. And again, the second hex advance. Nah, they can't go to either one. Although that one's not deviating, like we've said, it's into a surrounded hex, which kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Okay, and the infantry needs to just stay where it is. Well, that was something. So they've moved a wee bit further through now as well. Yeah, slight threat here. I know it's across the river. And that is their army objective marker right in that hex. So, yeah, in some ways, waiting to see that what they've done here is maybe a good idea. Okay. So I've got 3 cards left. He's got 4, but still got 1 to shuffle in eventually. Okay, well that gives me something to think about. Right, I'll take a pause for now, guys. Maybe not get back again tonight, but we'll be back. Well, hopefully with an Allied Impulse. Whether I pass again, I'm not so sure about that one now, but we'll see. Okay, cheers.